every year when we have these projects, I have mixed emotions. I have excitement because I know it's going to be fun and I get to spend time with the people I work with, but it's also going to be, there's going to be anxiety because it's always something new. There's always a new aspect, even for veteran teachers.
Well, at first I didn't have a lot of thoughts because I didn't know what a hyperdoc was, didn't know if it was going to be an easier project, like this will come quickly, or if this is going to be a big, heavy load for all of us to deal with, but just a lot of mystery to the whole thing because we didn't really know what hyperdocs were.
The beginning of it, I was like, okay, holy cow, this is a big project, but it was good. It was one of those deals where I didn't know a whole lot about it, but I know I had team members that we really just bunched together and we got through it and we understood, and it's been beneficial. So it was beneficial for me to start with the project, and it helped kind of create that bond with other team members that I work with now too.
My initial thoughts for the project on the hyperdoc was I was a little overwhelmed. I just kind of sat back and they said, don't worry about it, we'll get it, or whatever. And so once we started working, it got a little bit easier. I tried to start understanding a little bit more on what the process was going to be about and what we had to go through to get to the finished product.
And it's never as bad as what you make it in your mind that it's going to be. But we had some tense moments and some times when I wasn't sure it was going to work out, and then it did, and it was great. And we're able to use the hyperdocs in my class. Students are making hyperdocs. It's a great way for them to show what they do in parent-teacher conference. So yeah, it's a great extension.
It was a lot of work. It ended up being a lot of steps, but with all the front loading done, it's super useful now. Me personally, in my classes, I try and do self-paced units. I'm giving that a try this year. And at first, before I had a program, a platform to make them on, I just made hyperdocs. We came up with all kinds of different ways that teachers of different subjects have come up. We were talking about even with History Day, they could have made a hyperdoc based on all the, okay, you have to have your bibliography, you have to have your board, what are you going to put on your board? From not knowing at all to using it in a self-paced unit the first year trying it, it's pretty successful, pretty awesome.
I was PE and social studies, so getting more apt to use technology in a classroom, which that's really pushed me to push myself to learn more. And we went through solid example ones, but as we looked at others, it was like, oh, okay, would be really good. And now I've used it for my classroom. We just did an ancient Mesopotamia unit, and I used a hyperdoc, made it myself, and my kids loved it.
It made the process so much easier when we all worked together, and I mean, I had a lot of help. I mean, no doubt that the group of people that I were with were excellent and said, they just kept iterating, don't worry about it, we're going to do this together, we'll get it. So that kind of eased my pain a little bit. But so overall, it turned out to be a good process.
I get really excited about when teachers get the hyperdocs for us to do because I could see what I need to do, and if I don't want to do it, I could skip it and then go back to it. I could choose what I learn, and I could keep my pace with it, and I know what I got done.
My experience before was, before I had seen a hyperdoc ever, I didn't really know what it was. I'd heard of a hyperdoc, but I had never used one. Then when Mr. Dressler, when he introduced a hyperdoc, it was pretty cool because he was able to tell us, okay, well, this is kind of what you're supposed to do, but there's more instructions on the hyperdoc. So that was really cool because I didn't have to get up and ask him. It was just, everything was there for me. I could click on the link and just go to it. There was no typing or anything, and we just did our work. Just using it to kind of make learning faster in a way, so that way you don't have to spend time on like one subject where you can give them homework maybe, and you can use that, and they have a hyperdoc, so they don't have to email you or anything. They've got all the directions they need for their homework and everything. So it would be really easier for teachers and students to be able to do their homework.